There is a 100% chance that the stock market goes up from here over the next 4 or 5 years. But I know you guys are curious about what's going to happen over tomorrow. So we'll talk about both in this video, but I really want to dig deep during this video into why I'm so confident the stock market is going up over years. And why you can be very, very confident about that and how you can profit the most when you know that for certain. So let's start by just covering the story that has just happened. So we had Trump come in. It was like 29% tariffs on every country. At least that's what the Evercore ISI said the average estimate real effective tariff rate was going to be. And the market absolutely collapsed. We saw it down 20%, the S&P 500 down 20% in one of the fastest crashes in history. Yeah, pretty much grandma was out here saying, I remember when the S&P 500 was at 6,000. Sure, Grandma, let's get you to the assembly line at the shoe factory because now we can't import anything. So it's time. We got jobs, baby. It's time for you to go to work, Grandma. And then what we had happen is Trump actually tweeted in the morning that it's a good time to buy stocks. Let's actually see if we can find that. So this is a great time to buy. So he gave us a warning. And then a couple hours later, he tweeted out that, pretty much we're singling out China because they raised their tariffs against us when we raised tariffs, whereas everyone else was like, hey, let's make a deal. So he's doing a 90-day pause with substantially lowered reciprocal tariffs during this period of 10%. Effective immediately. So tariffs aren't going away completely, but they're reducing a ton to 10%, where if you compare it to 29%, it's like 2/3 cut compared to the Evercore ISI estimate. And after that happened, the S&P 500 shot up 10.5% today. Right after I made a video, remember I made a video saying this is your last chance, a little bit clickbaity, right? I mean, obviously you're still getting a lot of very good PEs. We're still down 10% from the high. We're still in an incredible bull market and there's a ton of buys. Like if you're buying here and here and here, it's like, and we're going up to here and then far and beyond. It's not really your last chance, but it was the last chance to buy the dip when I made this video and warned you guys, like on a single political change, the stock market can fly, 10% in a week. I was underestimating it actually though, because, we just went up 10.5% in a day. But I'm trying to keep you guys in the know. So let's look at my portfolio now. So you can see we are now up to 356,000, up 106% on the year-over-year return. Still down a lot from our high when HIMS was flying up and stuff. We were up 527%, but still absolutely destroying the NASDAQ, which is down 1.79% on the year. And if we change it to the S&P 500, we should be destroying the S&P 500 as well. Even at the lows, we were down, we were up still 24% on the year. So let's move on here. So let's talk about why I think there's a 100% chance that the stock market is going to be up. So we just left 3 of the biggest days of like VIX volatility spike that we've ever seen. And this is a look at since 1990, when you have a 3-day spike in volatility. These are the biggest ones. What are the forward S&P 500 returns? So the blue is what we just had here, the 4th through the 7th. And you can see that it was one of the highest volatility spikes that we saw over a 3-day period. But overall, these other ones, look at these returns. 1 year later, you're up every single year except for one. 2 years later, up every single year except for one. 3 years later, up every year except for one. And this year is 2007. So you have a major financial crisis in 2008, a real estate collapse. Like that is what has to happen for you to actually be down still after a volatility collapse. after a volatility spike like we just saw. Every other time except for 2008 that we've seen a volatility spike like this in the VIX. 2 years later, you're up. 3 years later, you're up. 4 years later, you're up. You're 5 years later, up. But now I know what you're thinking. You're like, well, that's only, that's not 100%. Clickbait. Well, okay. You want to see 100% one? I just saw this on Click Capital. There's actually two we're going to look at from Click Capital, but they're actually from Charlie. So this is biggest one-day percentage gains forward total returns from 1950. So this is looking even earlier. You can see we actually just saw the number 3 biggest one-day gain in the S&P 500, which is absolutely crazy since 1950. So 9.5% is what this is marking it up. So yeah, really, really close here to these insane times climbing out of the 2008 financial crisis, which we had 2 of the biggest days ever. And then obviously we have COVID coming out. This was a bigger up day than some of the COVID up days. And that was like an insane V shape, like we had never seen before. So this is insane. Okay. But what happens after that? Well, over the 1 year, 100% of the time you're up. Over the 3 year, 100% of the time you're up. And over the 5 year, your forward S&P 500 total returns are up 100% of the time. So the average here is 10% more. On this, you saw 10% more. But the average here is much higher than this. Like the average is almost 50% or something. Like so you could actually run these numbers, but it's an insanely higher move 12 months later on the S&P 500. Over the 3 year, look, it's 103%, but you're more flattish because you just run out of it so crazy, right? So probably this is like a similar over the 1 and 3 year, which is an interesting thing to think about. But then over the 5 year, you're up sometimes, almost 200%. Looking forward. So it's a big buy signal, 100% buy signal that we're going to be up going forward. And then one more from Click Capital that I saw watching his video today that I thought was really, really interesting. It has 100% over the 9 month and 1 year, but this is S&P 500 closes at a 200-day low. Then 97% of stocks go up the next day. What do your forward returns look like then? Well, every single time, pretty much besides 2008, where once again, we had a major economic collapse that there's no evidence we'll see anything like this time around. Other than that, you were pretty much up 100% of the time, 3 months later, 6 months later, 9 months later, 1 year later. Over the next couple of weeks, you can see a bit more volatility. I mean, we did just move 10% in a single day. So you can see more volatility in the short term, and you definitely have seen that before after you have a 200-day low and then 97% of stocks shoot up. 44% of time only are you up 2 weeks later, but it's the only time. Besides that, it's 89%, 100% of the time. You're up. So I just thought that was a really interesting chart to look at as well. Now you can get overwhelmed by charts and stuff. I think the bottom line is, even if you don't have access to these different charts and some of them can be gimmicky as well. Okay, 97% of stocks up, 200-day low. Why are these numbers picked? So it's important to just remember when you're buying any company or any stock, you're buying a company. And what matters is that you're buying it at a good price. And as long as you shouldn't be super worried about the next couple days, as long as you're a long-term investor, you're investing money you don't need over the next couple of years. If you're buying at a good price, you don't know when these days are going to happen. You don't know when there's going to be days where the heat maps look insane. I think Tesla finished up 20% today, which is just absolutely wild in a single day. You don't know when those days are going to happen. So you just have to stay invested. And when the market is full of fear and the VIX is high and prices are good, most importantly, prices are good, just buy as much as you can. And these days are going to happen. You don't know when they're going to happen, but these days are going to happen. So the fear and greed index is actually still in extreme fear. However, we've gone from 3, I think yesterday, to 17. So it's gone up quite a bit. So that's an interesting thing to look at. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I want to say that Isaacman just became the NASA chief. I just want to say congratulations to him, but just really quickly, I'm a fan of his company. It's trading at a 15 forward PE still after it's gone up a ton. Jared Isaacman's company. which unfortunately he left the CEO to join NASA. Hopefully he comes back. He's still the biggest shareholder. But yeah, the forward P is 15 and they're growing 30% a year. So there's still a ton of deals out there. And I just want to finish with this Vanguard bull and bear markets over time. I just took a little screenshot here. So this is from 1969 to 2024. Just look at this. The bull markets are always tiny. The bear markets are always massive. The down times, the bear markets are always tiny. The bull markets are always massive. 66%. That's the biggest one that we're going to see on this list back in the 1900s. But you can see, okay, even after 66% down, 180% up, 27% down, 1,670% up. 33% down. And look at these links too. 10 years, 11 months bull market. 3-month bear market. Okay, that sucks. Black Monday. Super scary. Oh, let's do a 12-year, 9-month bull market. 527% up after a 33% down. And it's like, okay, tech bubble. Super scary. 43% down. 2 years, 5 months. That's pretty long. That sucks. It's several years of a ton of hurt. But if you can get back on your feet, then you're up 135%. Now you have the global financial crisis. That kind of sucks, down 41%. But now you're up 222%. Now COVID, down 25%. And now look at this. We're not really up that much. A couple 100% probably since COVID. We could easily, we're now looking at the AI revolution. I wouldn't be surprised. We could have a bull market even bigger than, the 1600 bull market without AI is going to increase productivity. So just keep things in perspective. And remember, according to the data I showed, which is not financial advice, but 100% of the time, 5 years out, even less years out, you're going to be up. Especially if you own companies that are growing free cash flow and stuff, you're going to be up. So don't freak out. Stay the course. Yeah, there's a ton of volatility in the short term, but look at buying great companies at great prices. We talked about AMD in the last video, talked about Shift4 in this video. Buy companies where you're getting these insane forward PEs that are way too low for the company's growth rate, that are doing really solid, and you're going to do really solid because these bull markets, they're tsunamis. They're insane. The bear markets are tiny. They're scary, but they're tiny. They're over quickly. The one we just saw is maybe over too quick. It's not too quickly, right? Like if tariffs are being reduced, then tariffs are being reduced. It was a ton of fear just based off of a policy change. So we can change, guess what? Just based off of a policy change. And reverse really fast. I'm excited about tax cuts going forward. I'm excited about interest rate cuts going forward. I'm excited about trade deals announced going forward. There's still going to be, a trade war with China. So there's still going to be more volatility happening. Some companies are not going to do well that are super reliant on imports from China for sure. That really, really sucks. If you're doing 100% of your manufacturing in China, no doubt, but most companies are going to be fine. The economy overall doesn't need to do terrible because of this. And I think especially if we get tax cuts, the bull market continues. AI productivity increases are just insane. And I am still so excited about the future, especially you look a couple of years out where the clouds of, what short-term craziness could happen go away and you just look at long-term trajectories. I'm very, very excited about what's going to happen over the next couple of years. I hope you guys were buying and were able to enjoy this crazy update that we just had. But what's crazy now is over the 5 days, the S&P is like flat. So nothing happened over 5 days. Nothing's been happening. It's all just normal. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, remember to drop a big thumbs up, subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and I will see you guys in the next one.